people were really proud to say we have a big team. Now the pride is in having a small team, and we have a really, really high revenue per employee because we're using AI.
A lot of people have negative beliefs that it's going to take over the world. Is that a myth?
There's definitely routine that I think is being automated away too much that you shouldn't be. I think like content creation, social media.
Can we become more human as we begin to leverage AI more?
What AI is doing is it's making everything accessible at quite a low marginal cost.
My ChatGPT does tell me I'm a bit of a rock star sometimes.
Yeah, I bet.
It kind of flirts with me a little bit.
Welcome to the Business Growth Podcast, powered by ActionCOACH UK, the world #1 in business coaching. Since 1993, we've helped thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs worldwide smash through their limits and achieve extraordinary results. This is more than a podcast, it's your blueprint for success. So grab a pen and paper, take notes, and make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell for weekly growth insights. Let's do this.
ActionCOACH, the help you need to grow your business.
What if the real power of AI isn't about replacing humans, but helping us become more human? That's the perspective of today's guest, Ross Power. Ross is a product strategist and entrepreneur who's been running oversubscribed AI workshops in Bali, helping people build businesses live right there in the room. He's worked with global firms like Accenture and now focuses on empowering individuals and small businesses to use AI as a tool for creativity, connection, and freedom. Get ready for a refreshing take on AI that's less about machines and more about people.
Your book deserves to be published, and selfpublishing.com wants to help make it happen. You'll work one-to-one with an author strategist to write, publish, and market your book the right way. Visit selfpublishing.com/ActionCOACH right now. Ross Power, good to meet you, sir.
Great to meet you as well.
Let's talk about AI and how we can use it to bring out the human beings that are here and here to stay.
What a start. Yeah, absolutely. AI is the latest tool. We've been through many, many tools in human history. Over the last 100,000 years of human history, we've always had a tool that we've used to augment ourselves, whether that was a hammer, a stone, a spear, the tip of an arrow. This is our latest tool. And ultimately, what a lot of people are doing is making everything about AI and not realizing that it's just an addition to us. So how do we do it? We figure out who we are, what we care about, how to bring out the best of ourselves, and use AI to just augment and add on to us rather than replacing us.
As soon as you said the latest tool, you got me.
That's good.
It just relaxes. It's just the latest tool. That's all it is.
I think so. I think there could be years to come where people look back and people like me saying that and go, no. But I think, as long as we're still staying really, really truly human, then and we can use it as a kind of something to add to us, then I think we're going to be able to leverage it and enjoy using it.
Can we become more human as we begin to leverage AI more?
I think the promise of like capitalism and over the last 150 years when it was first talked about was all this idea that actually with capitalism, with the ability to kind of, I guess it's turned into much more consumerism, but it was all about trying to find a way in which we can get back to being human. Because as we've gone through these different kind of eras over time, we've gradually got closer and closer to not being like what humans are naturally doing. Like a lot of what TJ talks about when he's talking about like the way we're kind of needing to get back into nature. Those are all things that I think through AI, through technology, we should be able to do. We should be able to automate the things that aren't necessarily human and get back to doing things that we actually enjoy, which is human connection, empathy, all the EQ things that allow us to actually enjoy our company and being around people. So live experiences, human crafted goods, human crafted experiences, sports, everything like that. I think we can do more of if we replace the shit that we have to.
Yeah, you can't see the Premier League like carrying on, people watching it if it was a lot of AIs running around, could you?
I don't think so. Well, I think there'll be two versions of it. I think there'll be weird AIs doing stuff and some people will choose to plug into that and that's fine. And some people will choose to plug into the real people. But the value and the premium is going to be on human experiences. And the premium is going to be on meeting people in person and community, because people don't want to have these. We're going to reach a pinnacle where we go, actually, no, we don't want this anymore. And my generation is the biggest example of that. We've got so many. I live in Bali. We've got so many sports things popping up, paddles going crazy. Live music is like kind of still going wild. Wellness clubs. Everyone wants to be connected with people again in person.
By the way, hats off to you for flying over here from
Just for this.
from Bali. I mean, like, hats off to you. It's really interesting because you've got an AI business,
Yeah.
yet you're all about empowering human beings.
Yes, exactly.
And that is a completely different angle than pretty much everyone else I've met on AI.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was kind of, I mean, I explored this idea. I mean, my background is in product management and how to basically understand how to start with a problem and build from there when you're thinking about kind of building products and businesses. And then in Bali, I was like, right, maybe I'll run an event. And so I ran these 3 events over the course of a month. They were oversubscribed on this thing I was using. 3 events, get as many people there to enjoy themselves, bring your laptop. And I had, 50 people sat on their laptops, live prompting, copying prompts that I was giving them, hitting enter, talking to the person next to them, and building their businesses right there and then. And the speed you can have conversation and see things happen is crazy. But doing it together, like, why not? Like, why should we all be at home?
So you
on our
helped
desk?
50 people build the start of their business.
Yeah.
What problem are they going to solve and all this kind of stuff?
Yeah. I have a methodology where I start from using Ikigai, which is So I say, okay, profession, passion, what the world needs, find something that makes sense. And I've got like a bot I've built with just ChatGPT stuff where you can ask the questions, figure that out. And then from there you go, okay, cool. So there's a problem. Who's the person that you want to solve for that problem? And then we go through 10, 12 prompts about the person, empathy mapping. These are all parts of design thinking and lean, the kind of experimentation, which I learned in the startup world. I learned with Accenture, and I'm applying it to more small business and individuals. Yeah.
All right. Automating routine tasks.
Yes.
Now, that's caught the attention of a lot of the listeners.
Yes.
I mean, what kind of routine tasks are we talking about here?
I mean, there's definitely routine that I think is being automated away too much that you shouldn't be. I think like content creation, social media, I think there are routine aspects of that which we need to make sure we don't replace entirely, because if you're building a social media presence, you need to keep kind of involved in that. But the routine tasks that, people don't realize that can be automated, the way that you're maybe managing your kind of your sales pipelines, and you're going to communicate with people, you're like adding people manually into something, you're going back, like these kind of things where there's like a workflow which you're spending a lot of time like copying and pasting and then pasting again and moving that data.
A lot of the listeners right now are saying, that's me.
Yeah.
And what should they do? How do we get this bot that just connects it all together?
Well, there's tools that allow you to do that, and that are now very easy to customize. So N8N is the one that's kind of gone wild. There's also one called Make.
N8N.
N8N. It's a hard, annoying name
It is
to say.
really. You got to say it slowly, haven't you?
N8N.
They thought that business model through really well, haven't they? We're going to make everyone enunciate our business.
N8N. But the idea behind it is a very simple, like very visual builder, and that's what a lot of the AI tools are trying to do now. Make it very visual, like a whiteboard, and on it you can say, hey, I want to start here, then something needs to happen here, and I just connect my system there, and I just log in, and then this one here. So you're basically able to string together everything that you need across the journey to go from A to B, basically. Things that previously you would have gone copy and paste, move that there, copy and paste, back and forth.
To be fair, some of the CRM systems that are out there, they've had this for years.
Yes.
And we've just not appreciated it, that it's probably artificial intelligence that's been doing it.
Same with everything. This is why like everything has been doing, I mean, all of the things in our phones have been doing AI for years. Loads of the ways we're interacting with the world is AI. It's just everyone's now adding AI. But I think we're getting AI fatigue already, where people aren't as excited when something says their business is about AI. Because at the end of the day, it gets boring. Like in the 90s and 2000s, you could just say you had an internet business and that was amazing. But now eventually people have just thought, well, everything's on the internet. And I think now people need to go back to like what Simon Sinek says, start with why. What are you actually doing? Because you can't just say you're an AI-powered marketing agency, because everyone's an AI-powered marketing agency. Or you're an AI-powered coaching academy. Well, everyone's got AI now.
Yeah.
So it's more about like going back again to, okay, what are you really solving? Who are your customers? And bring it back to like the product mindset.
I interviewed a big investor that invested in a lot of AI businesses from Dubai. And he said something really profound. He says, AI in the future, it will disappear. And he says, it just is.
Yeah.
Everyone accepts it. You don't talk about it anymore. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's in the background now. And then he gave this analogy. He says, back in early 2000s, social media came out. People were scared of social media, these people, the older generations, like, oh, social media, what is this? But people don't look at it through the same lens anymore.
Yeah.
It just is. It's there.
Yeah, agreed.
And that's what this guy said. Again, it was a very reassuring principle for human beings.
Yeah, and I think there is things to be worried about, obviously, with AI.
What should we be worried about then?
I think, there's definitely things to be worried about, kind of the collection of data and how data is being used. Whether you're giving all your data away, and that could be used against you at some point. Now, like a lot of these like LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, they have various different privacy kind of policies in place, but not everyone like trusts those. Just like not everyone trusts that Facebook's privacy policies are to be trusted. If that data is sat in a honeypot of information about everything you've ever told ChatGPT about your relationships, your people are using it as a therapist now, about your business, about your revenues, about your medical history. If that data was to be extracted, then that could be used for a lot of different ways.
Yeah, it could be used to blackmail people, really.
Yeah. And then on top of that, there's obviously there's things as you go to a countrywide, nation statewide level where AI is security and areas of like international security where AI can obviously be used to kind of
you just assume the powers that be are going to sort all of that out really as a layperson, don't you, when you're using that? In fact, you don't even think about it. So that is something to be aware of. So I'm just double checking here. I'm looking for reassurance.
Yeah. For sure.
But be honest. So ChatGPT, if you use the paid version, it's all secure.
It's all secure, but you can choose to switch off memory, and you can choose to basically delete all your history of your chats if you want to. So one of my colleagues, who's head of engineering for a client I have, he will delete all of his chats as he goes and start with a fresh window and has nothing on his sidebar, and he'll have memory switched off entirely. Now,
really?
And some people are choosing to do that, but it's the same way that some people choose to have maximum privacy settings on their iPhone or whatever they're using, and some people don't. It's just a privacy thing. But the company I used to work at was a blockchain crypto company, and the CTO Anchor talked about privacy as a little bit similar to like sex education, and you can't really teach privacy just like you can't teach sex education. Like you kind of have to figure these things out yourself, and privacy is never going to be a sexy thing to talk about, and it's never going to interest people because people care about efficiency.
Yeah.
And so the only way to build in privacy and to build in these is if it's part of the product already. And so most of them, they come across and they say, okay, we're private from in the nature of how we build things. Your data is cryptographically secured, but some people don't trust it. So it's one of those things.
Yeah, but I mean, could people still hack into ChatGPT?
Well, OpenAI is like one of the obviously leading companies in the world that's got more money than anything right now. So you'd think they're making it well restricted enough, and they are, and they haven't had major leaks come out yet. So
yeah, but when you say they haven't had major leaks, that means they've had minor leaks.
I don't even know if they have had minor leaks.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
I've not heard yet. So
not yet.
Okay, so decision making, AI, and its role in decision making is changing now, isn't it? As we move forward.
Yep.
On a personal level, on a work level, it's involved in decision making, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, ChatGPT just released their agentic model in the last 2 weeks, maybe even less than that. But basically, they've just released what they call agents, and you know what agents, that kind of terminology means, right? So where we have kind of gone, there's like 3 iterations that they talk about with where AI is going. The first one was like the chat interface where you're communicating via chat. The second one is more you're hiring people to do jobs for you, which are basically these agents. And so some companies like marketing agencies, sales companies, what they're doing is they're basically setting up an agent like they would an employee and giving them a specific task.
Yeah.
So it's easier
basically delegate.
Yeah, but not delegating everything to one thing, but making it easier. So, you know, in ChatGPT or whatever you use, you'll have a chat about one thing, a chat about another thing. Because if you're talking to all of it in one go, it'd be hard. Just like if you're talking to one person about everything, it's overwhelming. So now they're creating these agentic things. So delegating that for decision making is definitely what's happening, where you know which one to go to for trusted decisions on different topics, is definitely one of the key things that's happening. But yeah, I think decision making with AI is definitely it's speeding things up.
It's helping me.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, even like people I know, they're putting all of the mortgage rates and stuff like that into AI, and they've got to make a decision on the mortgage rates going up, and they're telling it, you know, what's most important for them, and it's helping them think.
Yeah.
It's helping them decide.
And you could just, I mean, what I can imagine is going to happen is eventually ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever these tools, you'll just basically share screen with your entire computer, and then you'll just begin doing things, and it'll be there just helping you, whatever you're doing. So yesterday I was doing a vitamins order, all these different things that I like to order while I'm in Bali and stuff. I was copying and pasting, compare this magnesium to this magnesium, paste, and then it was reading the backs of the packets and then giving me. Eventually I'll just have my whole computer shared, and it will just be basically just letting me know as I'm surfing. So it's kind of like doing everything with you. So your decision making will be on the go, which is kind of crazy. It'll be more active rather than passive.
To be fair, I find it very empowering.
Yeah, it's incredibly empowering, and to be able to do that speed is amazing. And I think with technology, where we've always gone is from massive inaccessibility to massive accessibility. So everything starts inaccessible when something's new, like the car when it was first brought out, only the richest could have it. The iPhone was only the wealthiest people decided to buy the iPhone 3, right? It was quite expensive. Same with the best MacBooks. Everything starts inaccessible and it gets more accessible. And I think what AI is doing is it's making everything accessible at quite a low marginal cost. And so where previously you had to pay people for web development, for app development, now, with things like Lovable, Replit, these are kind of these different tools that allow you to build apps, build websites. Pretty much anyone is getting access to do anything, which means the moat
At low cost,
which means the moat around actually executing is coming down, like the restrictions, the access to actually executing is coming down. So what matters more is ingenuity, like the idea, and also just persistence, the energy to just persist and just keep working through something, because you'll figure it out with the tools you have. It's not as much about having the most money. So one of the big shifts that's happening in technology is a lot of VCs and big companies used to say, how big's your team? People were really proud to say we have a big team. Now the pride is in having a small team. We've got a small team and we're using XYZ to execute, and we have a really, really high revenue per employee because we're using AI.
Yeah, and you can look at the negative side of that. Is like, where are people's jobs going in the future, and is it going to be live events? What we've said here. I'm just going to come back though to persistence that you said, because I found myself, if I give myself like a 2-hour block, which is a long block, not just ad hoc go to ChatGPT or whichever AI people are using, to help think. But to really sort of go deep, and work with it for 2 hours, which is an extended period of time, really focused, deep level of research. What I found is decision making, meaning, purpose, very, very clear at the end. Yeah,
it's like having an expert to communicate with you of whatever topic you're trying to communicate on.
It's kind of the ultimate assistant. Isn't it? Whatever kind of assistant that you want, area of expertise.
And that's what Sam Altman's vision was always, to have, an assistant that can augment you what you think naturally. Because, I mean, depending on how you use it, but when I'm using it, it's helping me like bring to light more ideas and helping me channel my ideas and get more confidence and more clarity on things.
Right, so it's making us more productive. What's the future looking like on productivity with AI?
Future looking like with productivity?
Is it going to keep increasing? Because it's making me more productive now. It's making you more productive now. Is that going to keep increasing?
Yeah, I think it's exponential now, which is kind of like, I mean, it's just going to keep going up at a faster and faster rate in terms of how it can do it. I think one of the challenges now is we are going to see, obviously, like people talk about, the amount of jobs being replaced, but there's also a massive amount of jobs being created. But my ultimate belief is, not everyone can have their own business, but I think ultimately we need to get to the point where we don't see it as like 8 billion people on the planet and half of them work for other people. We see 8 billion individuals on the planet, and everyone in some ways is their own business, and we respect that. And we have, this idea of like one person businesses I really like, because everyone is their own kind of person in and of themselves. When you go from one company to another company, you are just the same person that's moving across the companies. And I think what's been done over the last 30 years is there's this like ownership over people, where a company owns the person that's inside them, and there's gardening leave, and you can't do this, you can't do that, and you can't say this and you can't say that.
Interesting.
I just believe like we're going to get to the point where we're much more independent to do what we want to do as individuals, and we're all productive, but I don't want to own anyone ever, in terms of like, I have a team of people and I respect that they're building a business and I'm building a business, and me being a good client to them means that they can, they can basically build their business and their lifestyle, and they also help me and I help them build their businesses, rather than this like, I own you because you're my employee. I just don't like that level of lack of freedom.
Yeah, even like Stephen Bartlett, he's been like championing, personal brands within his
companies.
Team.
Definitely.
He wants everyone to have a personal brand.
Definitely.
Which is kind of like what you're saying there.
Yeah, 100%. When I was at Accenture, I sort of came up with an initiative and really pushed it hard, and it did get implemented. But after I'd left, around entrepreneurship, and someone that left Accenture, a guy called Gib Bullock, wrote a book about entrepreneurship. And while he was there, he set up this part of the company called Accenture Development Partnerships, which was, these very smart consultants could go and do reduce pay and work in kind of emerging countries on like problems that are worth solving, kind of thing. And that kind of like internal entrepreneurial idea is, I think, something I'm really like interested in as well, because inside organizations there is very entrepreneurial people. They're just not ready to take the risks to go out alone, which is understandable.
Right at the start, you said this is the latest tool. Yeah, if AI is the latest tool, what must never be automated for humans?
Dating. I think that's something which is getting scary. I think relationships.
Do you think people will end up dating?
They are, yeah.
An AI in the future.
They're doing it now. I think they are doing it now. There's people who, I mean, if you think of what is dating. Dating is sharing your story with someone, getting something back, communicating with someone, sharing your feelings, building a relationship.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, I mean, my ChatGPT does tell me I'm a bit of a rock star sometimes.
Yeah, I bet.
It kind of flirts with me a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I won't say who, but I found out recently that there's a women's group on Facebook where I think some people on it have become so disheartened with the men in society, and I think we've got some issues there, that they're single women, and they've basically started starting a ChatGPT conversation at the end of the night, talking about their day, talking about things, getting some questions back, having that kind of like
therapy, really, as well.
It's kind of therapy, but it's kind of just like a conversation, checking in, and then knowing that you kind of have something there to give you some comfort, reflect on your day. So yeah, no, I think dating is something which is sadly growing because of these.
What's the biggest myth about AI right now?
The biggest myth about AI.
A lot of people have negative beliefs that it's going to take over the world. Is that a myth?
It's hard to say that it's. I think it's the speed at which things are happening is pretty scary. I don't think anyone on the planet right now can actually really say how fast this is moving now. It's at a different pace. So I wouldn't say no, like none of this is possible. But I think there's definitely a myth around one, like all jobs kind of being replaced. I think new jobs are being created, and I think there is massive opportunity for new work. And I think a myth around it causing harm in the way that we're communicating with it. I think people sort of say like it's, people talking to ChatGPT and people doing this is kind of like taking away like the human side of things. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think we're learning to reflect more, we're communicating more, we're becoming maybe more self-aware, more conscious, and then we can use that to kind of go back into the world.
If you had to say these are the 3 things that an individual must do from this day on to be powered by AI, what would the 3 things be?
I think using AI tools as more of kind of not like somewhat of a journal, like kind of right. When I have calls with people, I tend to be writing my notes straight into ChatGPT and using things to document information. So I think that's one, like make sure you're documenting your life history better with it, because it's just going to learn you and keep the memory about you. I think that's really good. I think making sure, and it's not necessarily AI, but making sure you're not losing sight of what you're actually here to do, like personally, rather than thinking you have to make everything about AI. So going back to like what makes you excited, what you enjoy doing, how you can earn an income, and then finding ways that you can add AI to that. And then definitely just being curious, because I think the people that are going to succeed are the ones that are the most curious. And I think right now,
why is that?
because people that are curious like go into something and then they try again and they try again
Open
and they keep
mind,
going
yeah.
deeper and deeper into something, and then they come out and suddenly they have all this information and they have this expertise. I think the most skeptical people are the ones that are kind of like just look at something on the surface and then don't go any further into it.
That's really good points. That, I mean, downloading your reflections so that you help your AI learn you.
Yeah.
Keep documenting you. Point number one. Keep the sight of your purpose and how you're going to earn. Keep sight of that, otherwise you're
That's
going to be
exactly
dreaming
it.
a little bit.
Yeah,
And develop the curious gene.
definitely.
Curiosity is your friend moving forward.
Definitely.
Top 3 things to do off the back of this.
That's good to, yeah, that's good. Well said.
All right. So, what's your definition of success now for an entrepreneur?
I think it comes down to freedom and the freedoms that you kind of that you value. For me, I've kind of talked about 5 freedoms: freedom of time,
Yeah.
freedom of location, freedom of people, freedom of mind, and freedom of I think I kind of called it creativity. But basically, to me, life. There's lots of different people around me who have a lot of success. There's people chasing. I'm still chasing. But ultimately, what I've realized is like I just want to be able to work with who I want, where I want, when I want, on what I want.
And you're basically doing that in Bali.
Just about. There's definitely
For some reason,
yeah.
you look like you live in Bali. I think it's the moustache.
the moustache, the necklace,
It's the
t-shirt.
cool nature, the t-shirt. What does it say? Innovators at heart.
This is actually from a co-working space in Bali.
There
Yeah.
you go. It looks like a cool co-working space in Bali.
It's a good spot. But yeah, I think being able to choose how you work and where you work and why you're working as well. I think the most frustrations have come in my life when I'm not allowed to do something the way I want to do it. I'm not allowed to do it from where I want, or, find that balance between like work and find the harmony between work and life. Because I think this whole work-life balance that's been pitched to us for years is just like not true, because it's impossible to disassociate work and life. I mean, every single relationship I've had me and my girlfriend will spend evenings talking about work, what that she's going through, what I'm going through. My family are a good example of that. We've never really separated work from life because you can't. And so I think for me, it's like, how do you find something that you are happy to have a harmony between, where you enjoy both of them, and you can maybe separate them slightly, but no one's ever, gone through a horrible argument with their wife in one evening, gone to work the next morning and forgot about work. It's like the film Severance, the movie series Severance. It's like, it's not possible. You can't cut your brain off the day you get into work.
Brené Brown, she talks about that. There's no such thing as work-life balance anymore. It's life balance. It's just life balance.
It's just life balance. Yeah. Harmony.
What's been the hardest lesson of your life?
Hardest lesson of my life. Staying true to like who I am naturally and not chasing what other people's goals are.
Who is the real Ross?
Yeah. Who am I and what do I actually want?
No. Who is it? Who's the real Ross?
Who is the real Ross? I think I am a highly empathetic person. Someone who cares about people and about the experiences they have in life. Enjoys humor, enjoys lightness, enjoys physical touch and connecting with people and having fun. And I've always had passions for my at university. I studied the politics of sub-Saharan Africa. I studied aid and development. I know what kind of I've been passionate for many years.
And then you've developed an AI business.
Yeah, and now my goal is to go into being able to kind of take the live events I'm running, travel the world, and help people in different regions get access to this information, so we all kind of grow together rather than we create continuous inequalities. But I think it's easy, the comparison is the thief of joy, and I've experienced times in my life where I've been comparing myself to paths that other people are on, not realizing that I've got a different path and things will happen to me when they happen.
Yeah, let me just reiterate that and echo that for all the listeners there, because that is a really good reminder for everyone. Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
Stop comparing to others, live your life. That's, kind of what you're doing. That's the real you.
Yeah, I think I'm gradually finding that, and I think being somewhat journaling, reflecting regularly is probably the biggest unlock I've ever had. That's probably one of the things that...
When you say regularly, is it every day, once a week, or...?
Well, I can get really stuck and rigid. I have to do things every day, and I get these streak trackers and all these things that send me insane. So I don't do it every day, but when I know that need to talk to someone about this, and I realize I need to talk to myself about this, I just open my book and I just write and write and write, and then eventually I come to the end of it and I go, I see what's going on there, and it makes it easier. So
the power of journaling, you know,
Yeah.
putting your thoughts on paper, it just clears your thoughts, doesn't it? Gets it
Definitely,
out of your head and
definitely.
onto a piece of paper in front of you.
Definitely. And there's a lot to be said for knowing that you depending on who you are and your characteristics, your time will come at a different age. There's a book called Late Bloomers, which was a guy called Rich Carlgard, and he talks about how depending on what your natural gifts are, whether it's you're more of a kind of highly like IQ, like numbers person, maybe you're more an empathetic EQ person, your life will form in the way it's meant to form based on who you are, as long as you're like persistently trying to be yourself. And so for me, I know that there's some things that have not clicked as quickly, and there's some things that are clicking later in life. And I think for people just to realize that, like, just keep focusing on like your own like best experiences in life and what makes you come alive, and then things will fall into place. But don't do things to prove yourself to someone.
Do you know what? My favourite bits of this conversation, you're definitely championing people. Even though you're AI powered and you're AI powering, you're championing people.
Mm-hmm.
The top 3 things that you said, this is how you use AI right now, everybody. You know, you train it and develop it, keep reflecting so it learns and develops you.
Mm-hmm.
Keep sight of your purpose and how you're making money off the back of how you're using AI,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
be really curious. So those top 3, but the 2 other big things that you shared, comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And then something else that you just said, and you said it really understated. And I'm just going to put massive sort of spotlight on it right now. Persistently be yourself.
Definitely.
Persistently be yourself. I mean, that is a good take home, mate. That's been my favourite bit. What's
Yeah.
been your favourite bit of this conversation?
Well, you're very impressive at how you respond to what I'm saying and communicate back. I mean, my ex was studying therapy and becoming a therapist, and one of the key parts of therapy was communicating back what someone has said. And so I think you've got a very good skill at that. It's a good thing to learn. And I think having someone just there to help me process what I'm thinking and actually like work through that is actually really good. It reminds me maybe it's better, the need to have a coach in some ways, because you've actually helped identify the interesting things I have to say and what I really believe. And I actually just could do with taking that notebook away with me, to be honest.
Persistently be yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And on that persistently be yourself, I think the biggest change I've had in the last year and a half of my life, where my life has definitely improved a lot, is truthfulness and authenticity. And always, 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 in every single moment, every single chance you get, whether it's the smallest thing or the biggest thing, telling the truth. Because I've never been someone who's been a liar, done things deceitfully, but I've been someone who is a people pleaser, who likes to keep things harmonious, who likes to make sure everyone is happy, and realized that it's 1, exhausting, and 2, it's not truthful. And so ever since I've just tried to be more truthful, even if at the risk of not necessarily being, not necessarily keeping someone like, perfect, like everything perfectly happy, it's made my life so much better.
Have the courage to tell the truth.
Yeah.
You got the power, Ross. Thank you very much, sir.
Starting your own business was an exciting time, wasn't it? The good days you had, and the bad. You knew you'd have to work hard, but you did it for your future. Lately, though, you're missing out on the important things in life. Time seems to be slipping by. So make the change. Claim back your work-life balance and grow your business today. Visit actioncoach.co.uk